Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I'm going to do question 56 from the Regents reading packet and then post it. This one is basically just being able to tell if you know the rules for rational or irrational when you multiply or add rational, irrational numbers. Now, I showed you guys how to do these questions using your calculator and basically get every point that you can. So, and I'm actually going to put a link to the video that I created that actually goes through in much more detail how you do these kinds of questions. So I'm just going to jump in and then I'll have a link at the end of this. All right, so it says state whether the product of the square root of 3 and the square root of 9 is rational or irrational. And they want you to explain your answer. That's important. If you just put rational or irrational and you don't put an explanation, you're not going to get any credit for it because they're not going to give you credit for just guessing on a show your work answer. So if they ask you to explain it, you got to explain it. And this is how you would do it. So you got two numbers here. We got square root of 3 and square root of 9. Now you need to know what this word means. Product means multiply. So, but basically what they're saying is square root of 3 times the square root of 9 is equal to what? What kind of number is that going to be? So all we're going to do is we're going to use the calculator and let it help us. So let's just go get it. So I'm going to go here. And the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in the square root of 3 because that's the first number. And I'm going to press enter. Now look at all of these decimal places. So remember, all we're trying to do is find out if it's irrational. If it's not irrational, then it must be rational. So, and the two things that you're looking for is if it is a decimal that goes on forever, and this one does, and then you look at the decimal part and you say, does it have a repeating pattern? And this one doesn't. Now, you may say like, well, how do you know that it goes on forever? Now, I'm going to copy it. Now, notice it goes 757. So basically what they did is they rounded the 6 up to a 7. But you can see that there's more digits after the 7. And eventually, the calculator can't put all the digits because it goes on forever. So this is as much as the calculator can display, but what you guys should see is that this is an irrational number because the decimals go on forever and it doesn't have a pattern. This is just a bunch of random numbers, 732050807. There's no pattern here. So on your paper, you should write over the top, oh, this is irrational. And when you put IR, that tells the person who's grading the test that you know that that's an irrational number. Now, we're going to do the same thing for the square root of 9. So we're just going to do square root of 9. Oops. Let's do this. Get rid of that. Then let's do the square root of 9. Press enter. Now, this doesn't have any decimals. Doesn't have a single decimal. So it has to be rational. So we're going to go here and we're going to write rational. So now we're multiplying our irrational times a rational. And what is it going to be? Who knows? Just put it into the calculator and see. So I'm going to do a square root. Well, I'm just going to go up and copy it. I'm going to copy the square root of 3. And then I'm going to multiply it times the square root of 9. And let's see what we get. Okay. That doesn't look like a rational number. And the reason I know that is, well, this number seems to be going on forever and there is no pattern. It's 19615. This is but just a bunch of random numbers. So what you would say is, watch what I do. I'm going to bring my, so this is what you should do. You should put 5.19615242271, and watch what I do. ... What that tells the person who's grading this test is that this decimal, this number goes on forever, and over the top of it, I'm going to write irrational. Now, that's my explanation. I'm saying that this number is irrational, this number is rational, and this is irrational. Now, if you want to go and write like, okay, irrational times a rational gives you an irrational, you can. But basically, all you need to do is identify each number and tell the test maker that you know what it is. Now, you could say, oh, this number cannot be written as a ratio of two integers. This number cannot be written as a ratio of two integers. That's the definition of rational. So it must be irrational. If you understand that, you can put that, but I don't even think you need to do that. If you can just label IRR and then this number, say something about it's a decimal that goes on forever and it doesn't have any repeating pattern, you can put that too. Any of those things would work. It's a number that goes on forever and it doesn't have a repeating pattern. Anything like that would get you 2 points. Honestly, I think if you wrote this, that would be 2 points. But if you want to try to write an explanation, you can do something like this. But that's how you do it. Just use the calculator. Look for the irrationals. And if it isn't irrational, then it must be rational. All right, I'm going to stop and post this.